Has God forsaken Israel? Did Israel now seem to be irrelevant? Mark Twain's 1867 expedition to Israel led him to describe the land as overwhelmingly barren, desolate, and lifeless. So you may understand why Martin Luther called for the burning of Jewish writings in 1543. It seemed finished, and a decision was made to replace Israel with the church. And why Hitler needed to rule over races to maintain racial purity. Then, why did Hamas launch Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, the 7th of October, 2023? And why did 10,000 Australians protest on Sydney Harbour Bridge, 19th of December, 2025? Now, Australians mourn for the victims of the Bondi terror attack. Has God forsaken Israel? And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Zechariah 12:3. Before we dive into the timeline of Israel's restoration, we must understand the key that unlocks biblical chronology. It is the day-year principle. In the book of Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 6, God gives a specific instruction to the prophet. He says, I have appointed you each day for a year. This is not symbolic guesswork. It is a consistent rule found throughout Scripture, from the wanderings in the wilderness in the book of Numbers to the weeks of years in Daniel. By applying this key to the judgment of Israel, we move away from speculation and into a realm of historic precision. Let us look at how these prophetic days transformed into literal years that shaped the modern world. We are the generation standing at a unique point in history. 2,000 years ago, over 300 prophecies were fulfilled during the first coming of Jesus Christ. We were not there to witness those miracles, but we are here right now. Today, we are witnessing the fulfillment of Ezekiel's ancient vision. In Ezekiel 36, God promised, I will take you from among the nations, gather you out of all countries, and bring you into your own land. But how did we get there? To understand the miracle of the present, we must look at the math of the past. In Ezekiel chapter 4, we encounter a strange, striking scene. A prophet is told to lie on his side 390 days for the sins of the north and 40 days for the south. He is told to build a model of Jerusalem, to construct siege walls and battering rams. This was not merely historic drama, it was a sign. God explicitly tells Ezekiel, I have appointed you each day for a year. This establishes the divine timetable. The 430 days represents 430 years of judgment for a stubborn nation. Prophecy here is not abstract. It is embodied, visible, and above all, precise. The judgment began with Babylonian captivity under King Nebuchadnezzar. During this time, Daniel and his 3 companions, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, were taken to Babylon to serve in the king's court. Jerusalem was later surrounded, breached, and burned. Many were killed. The Idumeans encouraged the destruction. In deep sorrow, the exiles lamented by the rivers of Babylon, hanging their harps on the willow trees, forced to sing the songs of Zion. The Babylonian conquest began in 606 BC. This period of captivity lasted 70 years, fulfilling Jeremiah's prophecy. Now follow the timeline. Count forward from the decree of Cyrus, 537 BC, allowing the Jews to return. Significant? Yes. Initially, only about 50,000 people returned. The city of Jerusalem lay in ruins, desolate, with 360 prophetic years still unaccounted for. Now math is key here. Subtracting those 70 years from the original 430 leaves 360 years remaining, because even after that return, 360 years of debt remained. But that's not all. In Leviticus 26, God warned that if people repeatedly turned against his commands, their punishment would be inflated sevenfold, 7 times longer. So take those 360 years, multiply them by 7, and you get 2,520 years. Using a prophetic calendar of 360 days per year, that total becomes 907,200 days. Now the big reveal: when we convert those days into our modern calendar and count forward from the decree of Cyrus, we land in a very specific date. May 14, 1948. What happened in 1948? The headlines of the world announced the rebirth of Israel to the very day. Ezekiel's prophecy reached 100% fulfillment. What happened in 1948? On May 14, the British Mandate ended. David Ben-Gurion stood in Tel Aviv and proclaimed the independence of the State of Israel. Ezekiel's prophecy, anchored in history, was fulfilled. But why such a long penalty? The Lord was clear in Leviticus: I broke the bars of your yoke and enabled you to walk in uprightness. But you failed to obey me. I will punish you sevenfold. Yet is Israel cast away forever? The Apostle Paul answers in Romans 11, certainly not. Even when Elijah felt alone, God had reserved a remnant. And today there is a remnant according to the election of grace. Paul speaks of a mystery, that blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in. What does that mean? It means that Israel has been given the spirit of stupor, as if we were to park them on the side until the gospel went out to all the other nations. And when that time is complete, the deliverer will come out of Zion. Ezekiel 4 is not just symbolic abstraction. It is a sequence anchored in time, and 1948 was the restoration. What follows next? Scripture points towards increasing hostility from neighboring nations, leading to the war of Ezekiel 38 and 39. leading to the war of Ezekiel 38 and 39. In that conflict, Israel will not prevail in its own strength. God Himself will intervene. God Himself will intervene? Imagine what that will be like. The eyes of every nation will be on Israel to see the miraculous conclusion to this war, with God Himself intervening to save His nation Israel. You might call this numerology or coincidence, but consider this: a nation returning to its land after 2,000 years of dispersion is historically unparalleled. Disagreement among scholars does not invalidate the result. This is a theological journey from judgment to restoration. The debt has been paid. The timeline is moving forward.